Master Grade Wing Gundam Zero. What is up, everybody? It is Robert184, 2Rs2Bs Gundam Reviews.net, and I couldn't be more pleased. Well, let's check that right there. I could be more pleased to be bringing you this review if there was just one little part that the elephant in the room, as it will, the Proto here. But let's just skip past that for a minute and focus on, we can't believe it's finally here. The Master Grade Wing Zero, much beloved by so many people. Let's check it out in its proper, a 1/100th Master Grade form here for the first time, and it may be as close as we ever get to a pure Wing Zero. October 2013 release. 4,800 yen is the price, and though it's got the wrong title here, the cover art is oh so right with the busters out there looking fantastic. And there it is, that one extra word there in English and Japanese. Nonetheless, it's already off to a good start just in the fact that we have it. And you can pick up this Master Grade Robot Damashi and so much more from the good folks at HobbyLink Japan, and there's links below in the description. Gundam Wing, when it came on the air, was an absolute smash in Japan and, of course, kicked things off in the West as it was the first Gundam show to really attract mainstream attention, broadcast all over the place, and I'm sure getting many people to hear the word Gundam for the first time. However, it was very confusing a few years later because in the anime, it followed the regular tropes. We got to see a Gundam, the Wing Gundam out there for the first half of the show, and then all of a sudden, Wing Zero. A little bit different in the fact that it was the prototype. Nonetheless, it was more powerful and awesome. And of course, once Hero got his hands on it and figured out how to use it, it was an incredible weapon of war. And then they blew all that away with Endless Waltz coming out a few years later, where they decided to say, yes, that Wing Zero that you know and love, well, let's put feathers on there. And the reason, of course, is going to be merchandising. So we've got to see both versions over the years, and in the last little while, we've also got to see that they go back, and we get to see new things like Frozen Teardrop and the new manga, and the losers doing their thing. And if they're going to go back and introduce the early version of this, and eventually they're going to have a feathered version, well, the less you think about it, the better. But finally, let's move on from the fact that this is the Endless Waltz version and just focus not on the Proto, but the fact that we have an MG Wing Zero. But the fact it took so long is near crimin, if you're a fan of One Piece. So when you flip to the Bible, what are you going to see here? Well, in 1995, yes, gunpla stores everywhere. Yori-sei and his family would have been quite happy. 1995, in March, we got the original Wing Gundam, and in September, we got the Wing Zero, to go along with some other good ones, good and bad. The 1/100th line came out just a month after. We've got April for the Wing, and then October there for the Wing Custom Zero, or for the Wing Zero. Custom is coming in shortly. And as was the style at the time, we got to see it with V and with G. We got 1/60th. This is non-grade, not perfect grade. But there it is, the Wing Zero coming out in the same month in October. But yes, this was a gunpla bonanza. You also got to see some new kits in 2000 with figures. But like I said, they blew it all open by taking the exact same Gundams and selling it to you again. And Bandai went back and said, why didn't we do that with the Gundam movies? We could have sold even more RX-78-2s if we had just added feathers. So here you can see the Wing Gundam Zero Custom is the name that they slapped on there. Coming out for a nice price. This is in 97. More kits followed up in 98. We also got some nice chromed versions. But it wasn't that long of a wait. We also got 1/144th kits before the winged Wing Zero Custom actually got its Master Grade. And even though it wasn't right at the beginning of the Master Grade timeline, you can see in October of 2004, so October being a good month for these kind of kits, we got the Wing Zero. But after that, an absolute slump until we got the Master Grade Wing, which many of us fell in love with, and then you have to wonder about your attachment to the old models or whether you'll still have one. 2010 April. So with very few Master Grades from Gundam Wing until the Endless Waltz kits came out, and they decided to give us all the early forms before we buy them all again once they do the anime, or at least the Endless Waltz OVA forms. It's just time to go back and reflect on this kit, and a lot of people had a lot of fun with it, with its effect parts, clear parts, gold chrome, and all sorts of stuff. But it very much was a product of its time in the old 1/100 or in the 1/100th scale. With lines galore, seals all over the place, poor mobility. It does transform, but at the same time, I really cannot believe that Bandai's held off on putting a Master Grade on the shelf, and yet they still go with the Proto one here. I suppose we can only assume that they know we're all just gonna buy it twice. That is assuming, of course, they ever do release a proper, if you want to put it that way, Master Grade Wing Gundam Zero But you know what? Talk about your EWs, talk about everything and early types, all you want. But when you see that, is that not good enough? For me, it definitely is. Looking fantastic, busters out, wings open, colors in all the right places, chrome and seals. Long gone, that is what a decade of MG progress is going to get you. But I do have to laugh about the rest of the box because, yes, everybody looking at this is going to be confused and saying, what is Proto Zero? And they're going to be explaining it all. Yes, there's two kinds of Gundam Wing because remember, 2 leads times 2, and why not throw in the Proto means 5 now. And yes, we have caught them all, but at the same time, there is some fun stories if you want to go and catch up on what's been happening, both prequels and alternate universe, and of course what happens in the far-flung future. The other side of the box is going to be focused on the gunpla, and I really like this compared to some of the other Katoki Hajime designs there. Lots of pictures, which is sort of funny that they just go text heavy on the other side. But there it is from the front. Look at those colors. The legs looking awfully white there with just a little bit of gray mixed into the knees, but who cares because it's the upper body and the wings and the shield and the busters that are going to be drawing all the attention. You can see clear green where it needs to be. Lots of color wraps on the shoulders. The head looking very finely tuned. And the shield with the clear green, red, and yellow. Hopefully there's going to be no seals to detract from it. And it's the kind of kit that you may want to buy 2 and just show off the front and the back. Well, of course, you could just have him rotating around on a base with the busters out. And for me, it's one of the best features about this Gundam that it looks so good and has so many options in terms of attacking that you're going to forget sometimes. That he transforms. Fitting, of course, for a Gundam named Wing, that it is going to have a bird mode there. You can see that you're going to have the big wings off there and some parts shooting off to the side. The twin busters are looking great. And you can see that it's going to have lots of gimmicks built into it. The display base is going to help you get it up in the air whether you want to rotate or not. Of course, the twin busters are both going to attach and spin all the way around. The beam sabers are looking good and you can see attachment options. Always something that you want to see with these kind of meant to be aerial kits and wing just being perfect. On the backpack and down below, the weapons, armaments looking good along with the custom attachment points and a little tiny Hero Yui. I'm surprised they didn't do away with him when they did the alt universe. Then again, it's not like we're rushing out to go buy little 1/100th kit versions of him. It's the mechs, of course, that we're all going to be focused on. And if you want to go add all your marking seals, Katoki Hajime, well, you know how he likes to do it. You could seal this guy up and not even see any white underneath. I do have to laugh, though, about the order, because I think people seeing it on the shelves are going to say, wow, look at that. Then they're going to see EW get confused, see Proto get confused. Look at that, be reminded of it, and then they're going to go inside, and hopefully all confusion is going to be forgotten. When you go there, you're going to see multicolored plates. Don't see a lot of those. Some nice big beams and seals, though not quite as many as you'd expect if this was a version KA kit. Some nice yellow down there, white and gray. You've got the old classic wing stand there, which you've already seen can be attached on. And look at that for the yellow parts. Very finely carved. More white with tons of details etched into the legs with no effort required on your part. There's the blue looking nice and dark to go along with the bright red. Endless Waltz in case you were confused. And the nice looking all white manual to go along with your other early types. And for me, this kind of advertising is fantastic because when you take a look at it, they're going to be talking about Frozen Teardrop 1 to 8, and they've got 1 to 5 there for Endless Waltz, the glory of the losers as it's often translated. And there it is, Wing Gundam Proto Zero. We get to see it actually get comicalized in Book 6, and that's going to be coming out November 26th. And if that comic version isn't enough for you, you can go back and see where it ours started, and I have to wonder if that's a taste of things to come there. Battle damaged, is it Proto or not? But it's time for the actual anime there. You can see it coming out in November as well, with the second box coming in January of last year. Yes, media in Japan is very expensive. And don't forget that you can get Seed Destiny HD Remasters Memory of Eden. Ooh, gotta talk about that sometime. Build Fighters, of course, coming out. We'll be getting Blu-rays of that, I'm sure. And you can go buy all of these. Some very expensive series there. And then remember, you can all go buy them in 4K in the not-too-distant future. I'm going to wrap up the unbox right there, but don't forget to let me know what you think about the whole Endless Waltz and the manga and the novels and everything else and the whole Proto concept. This is a great place to chat about that. But of course, the focus is going to come back where it should be, on the plastic, on the gunpla, as it all gets put together. I feel like Yorisei for whatever reason. A lot better than I did when I put that one together. So please let me know what you think of this, and we'll see you for the next part, everybody. Bye. Master Grade Wing Gundam Proto Zero. doesn't sound bad, but doesn't feel right. You know, I could just have this thing rotating around all day.